Hey guys, it's Marcus here from TalkSober.com, and in this video I'm going to share with you real-life examples of how to help a loved one with alcoholism. How can you get them help? How can you get them to treatment? What if the treatment options aren't available? How do you approach them without rattling them or making them angry and making them feel like you're attacking them? What is it you can do to help your loved one? And I want you to know that this comes from real-world, real-life examples that have happened to me over the last 48 hours. You see, Friday, about 11 p.m. here in Florida, 8 p.m. in California, I get a text from my brother who has struggled with alcoholism and opiate addiction and all kinds of addictions for most of his adult life. And I haven't heard from him in months, and I kind of assumed he's kept it at bay or been managing or whatever. And things start to escalate really, really badly. So I call him in the morning on Saturday, and I find out that he's not doing well at all. He's struggling with his alcoholism. He's drinking around the clock. He's pretty much not in a good place. He's depressed. He's struggling, and he needs help, and he needs help fast. So I decide I'm going to hop on the next plane to get him some help and everything like that. And before I do this, I actually say, hey, can you get in a rehab? Can you do it? You need to go today. You need to go today. And he tried to get into a rehab. He went there, and because of the paperwork and everything like that, he got finicky, and he said, you know what? I don't want to do this. I can't do this. This seems shady. It doesn't seem like what I want. And what you're going to find out is sometimes it's difficult to get what you want and make everything perfect. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to do that. So after that, he walks out on the rehab. He's like, I'm not going to go. I still want help, but I'm not going to go to that rehab. And I had remembered from my recovery a place that I went for rehab, and I realized that it was far away from family. It's going to take, an hour and a half by plane, which my family doesn't fly, so that's good, or about 8 hours by driving to get to this rehab. And so I said, okay, I'm going to book a flight, and I'm going to fly out on the red eye on Sunday night. I'm going to arrive really late Sunday night, early Monday morning in California. We're going to take care of this. And so I get to my brother, and I try my best to keep him at bay. I'm like, okay, you can have a little bit to coax you along so that you don't feel like you're struggling, and I'm helping him along. And I said, we're going to get you in rehab. We're going to get this going. And I booked a flight for both of us from Los Angeles or Santa Ana, California airport to Oakland so that we could get him to the rehab that was about 2 hours by car from Oakland and get that all sorted. And what I did is I booked these very close. So I came in at about 12 o'clock a.m. on Sunday or on Monday morning, and then we left at around 10 o'clock Sunday morning. So from about 3 a.m. when we really started getting things hammered out to about 8 when we had to be at the airport, we were there. I was dealing with him, making sure he wasn't drinking too much, and making sure that he was still on board with going. And so we had everything sorted out. We made sure that there was a bed at the rehab and everything like that, and we orchestrated it to where it would work so that there was no outs. You see, for your alcoholic loved one, you have to provide no outs. You have to understand them as a human being. You have to separate the alcoholic person that you have come to know and probably don't like very much with the actual loved person that you know. Because here's how you have to look at it. A person that's dealing with alcoholism is not dealing with a rational mind. I like to equate it to what it would be like if someone was put in a torture camp or in a mind-washing cult or something like that. You see, what happens is your brain is warped by alcohol every little bit. And the more and more your loved one drinks or yourself drinks, the more your brain cannot see where it was. So up here, you're like, hey, here's the loved one. Here's the person that I love, who I know they are. It's a great person. Like my brother is a great, great person when he's sober. Okay, but over time, what happens is it drops down. Their baseline drops down and drops down and drops down. And over time, gradually this happens so that the person doesn't realize that this happened and can't see why it happened. It's like that high school person that you probably knew in high school, right? And they get a girlfriend, and all of a sudden they start acting differently and doing different things and liking different things, and gradually this stuff happens. And they don't look at it saying, well, this person caused this, or this situation caused it, or whatever. They just look at it as like, I'm here, this is where I'm at. And that's what you got to deal with. You have to separate the alcoholic person, the alcohol, right? Because the alcohol is causing someone to behave different ways. This is not the person that you know. The person you know is still in there. But see, here's the problem. The problem is when you confront them, you're dealing with all your baggage in the family. I was dealing with my dad, who was doing everything short of deliberately sabotaging every movement I made. But luckily, we were able to get past that. And I was dealing with it because here is this person, right? And this person wants to deal with the content. You owe me money. You did this. He did a bad thing. That guy did this. He's out getting drunk and getting in bar fights and things like that. And he's like, I can't deal with this person. And I'm like, listen, you're not dealing with the person you know. You're dealing with the alcoholic version of that person. You're dealing with the person whose mind has been warped and cannot see clearly. Now, if you come at this person and you say, hey, listen, fucker, you've been being an asshole, they're probably not going to respond. But if you come at them and you say, look, here's what's going on, we need to get you some help. Now, luckily in our case, my brother knows he needs help. He just doesn't know how to get it. And most alcoholics know that they need help. They just don't know it's out there. The reason they keep drinking is because they don't know a better solution to deal with their problems. And on top of that, they're dealing with withdrawal of alcohol, which feels like shit, which means all you know is another drink is going to help you. So you got to be very careful with these things, and you got to really listen. What I would advise you to do if you're dealing with an alcoholic loved one is, number one, understand that they are not their addiction. They are not this person doing these things. They are the person you love, tainted by alcohol, tainted by being an alcoholic, tainted by the mental illness and insanity that alcohol creates. So you're not dealing with someone with a full rational thought process here. You're dealing with someone tainted. Two, remember, sometimes people can be hostile or angry towards you when you call them out on their drinking. Because think about this. Here is this alcoholic who's been drinking for years, and it solves all their problems, and it causes all their problems, and they know their life is fucked. They know things are going bad. They just don't have a better solution. And when you come at them and you threaten to take away the only solution they have, think about what that's like. That'd be like going to a guy in the desert who has a bottle of water and taking it away from him and saying, I'm taking away what you think is your only lifeblood. Now, that guy might not know that you're driving him to a lake full of water that he could drink, just like the alcoholic doesn't know that there's another solution. There's another way out. And what you got to do is you got to be gentle. So you got to educate yourself on alcoholism, how it works. You got to understand your loved one, and you got to look at them at the heart and say, who is this person? How do I help them? How do I speak to them on a level that's going to make sense without condemning them, without telling them they're an asshole, without getting in fights about the details of who lent this money and who got this money and who did this and who did that? Because you're not dealing with the person. You're dealing with the problem. So there's something you got to look at, which is content versus the way that the mind works, okay? The way that the alcoholic mind works is it's sidetracked only by looking for alcohol, all right? Now, the content is what the alcoholic is going to use to get you to give in to whatever they want, which is probably get another drink or let them live or money or whatever it is you're dealing with, okay? Now, the content could be anything. The content does not matter. Like I was talking to my dad, my brother and my dad work together, and it's a absolutely toxic relationship. It's terrible. I probably could not stay sober if I had that type of relationship. And my dad wants to get in all the content. We got to fix this business thing. We got to deal with the money. You got to pay me back on this. How many fucking cigarettes did you have? Why do you got to go get drinks? Why do you got to do this? What the fuck is wrong with you? This is all the content and the content and the content. The content doesn't fucking matter. What matters is getting your loved one to accept some kind of help and getting them to someone who knows how to get them that help. So what you got to do is you got to look at this objectively. You got to listen to them. You got to be understanding. You got to make sure when you're talking to them, if they have to drink, maybe keep it at bay. Like I told my brother, he was pretty much plastered when I got there. And I said, look, we're going to calm you down. And if you need some drinks, I said, I'm an alcoholic too, and I'd rather not be around it. But if you need to have a couple of beers or one little one or whatever every hour so that you could maintain, I understand what that's like, and we'll do it. And we went and we got those, and luckily, because I listened and understood to him, he didn't even drink his whole six-pack. Half of it he poured down the sink, and the other half he said tastes like piss, and he didn't know why he was even drinking it. And so we were talking to him, and I was like, man, we need to get you help. Here's what you're going to do. One of the other things that you need to do is you need to get your ducks in a row. All right? The minute that your loved one says they're ready to accept help, you can't go to the fucking phone book and look for a rehab because you don't know if there's beds available. So before, do your homework. Make sure you find a place for him to go. Make sure you find somewhere for him to get help, or buy some time. Right? If you're in a crunch, you got to buy some time, take him to a hospital detox or take her to a hospital detox or whatever. Buy yourself some time, get a bed at a rehab, and then plan it and orchestrate it. What I did is I went through and I said to my brother, I said, look, and I said to my dad too, I'm like, look, this is what we're going to do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is what we're going to do. I'm getting on a plane. I'm getting a car to your house. Can I pick you up at the airport? No, we don't need family drama. I'm going to be at the hotel. You're going to bring my brother to the hotel. Okay, he did that. We got him to the hotel, and I said, tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're getting on a plane at 10. All right, and I said, your wife's going to come at 8. She's going to say goodbye to you, and she's going to drive us to the airport. No one else can come. This is what we're going to do. Then he has trouble flying, as many alcoholics do. And we got on there, and I was like, okay, you're going to chill. We're going to do this. If you need a drink on the plane, I'll get you a drink on the plane. I didn't let him have his debit cards or anything like that. I was like, I'll hold it for you. I'm not taking it. I just want to hold it for you so it's safe, everything like that. You know, I was very gentle. And so I went through and I was like, okay, we're going to get on the plane. We're going to chill. We got on the plane. We laughed. We had fun. We had a good time. And I brought out the person that I know is in there that is my brother, the good guy. I'm like, let's bring him out. Let's talk to him, not the addiction. Because everyone wants to talk about the addiction and the fucked up things that people do under addiction, and where do you hide your beer, and how could you do that to me, and you're an asshole, and you owe me that. Everyone wants to get in the content, and the content keeps you stuck. It keeps you sick. And I'll tell you right now, if the content is still there when my brother gets out of rehab, he's not going to stay sober. If the content is still what matters, it's not going to be able to maintain, because you're dealing with the content. You're not able to look at it objectively and rationally and say, this is not the person we're dealing with. The content doesn't matter because the person isn't here. So you could get in any argument you want. You could talk about whatever you want, but you're not talking to the person. You're talking to someone whose brain has been tainted by alcohol. So we need to remove the alcohol, and we need to deal with the issue at hand, because many times, as it is with my brother, it's a life or death situation. I mean, you keep drinking, bad shit's going to happen. It's not good. It's not pretty. You need to get your loved one to someone who knows what they're doing, and you got to do it in a cool way that's going to chill them out. So you got to, one, separate them from it. When the content goes, my dad was there with his new wife. My brother was there, and we got family trauma, all right? When you got like 4 brothers and we all have issues, you know, you got issues, and the dad's got issues, and we come from grandma with issues, and we come from all this stuff, and there's a lot of content. And they're sitting there at the table, and they're talking about the content, and I said, you know what? What about this? Let's talk about how we're going to get you help. Let's talk about what life's going to be like when you're done and when you're sober, and what we're going to do. Right? I gave him some. I was like, let's come on out here to Florida for Thanksgiving, and let's hang out, and let's have a sober Thanksgiving right after you get out of the rehab, and let's go through this. And it's very, very important that you make them know, or let them know, that you're there and that you're doing this out of love, and not like a dickhead. I'm doing this because I love you, you fucking bastard. Not like that. Come on now. That's not how you talk to people. You wouldn't even talk to like some random guy at freaking Starbucks like that. So talk to them like you love them, if you actually do, and listen, and then take the content and keep controlling the conversation the way you want. Because the problem is people don't know how to control these conversations because they themselves are wrapped up in the content. It's like this: sick people have sick people, right? My dad's a sick people. He had sick people. My grandma was a sick people. They got sick people. People in these issues usually have dysfunctional families. And you got to look at yourself and ask yourself, what part am I playing in this? Is there something that I'm doing that is allowing this, right? Is it, you can call it enabling, you can call it whatever the hell you want, but what are you doing? Is there something you can do to help? Because oftentimes you're not doing the right thing, whether it's just focusing on the content and getting in cycles and loops about the bullshit that could be, would be, needs to be money bullshit. Or are you going in there and saying, my loved one's going to die if they keep drinking. I know who my loved one was before they started drinking, and I'm going to focus on that person. I'm going to love that person because all the other shit does not matter. It doesn't matter if you guys work together. It doesn't matter if you live together. It doesn't matter how much money they stole. It doesn't matter. That stuff is all context. It's all bullshit, and you need to get over it if you want your loved one to get the help that they need. And you got to look at this, and you got to say, you know what? I love this person, and I care about them, and I'm going to orchestrate it, and I'm going to make it happen. Get the financial ducks in a row. If you're going the rehab route, get the ducks in the row to get them sober. Take them there. Show them that it's going to be okay. Help them fill out the paperwork and be there every step of the way if you can, because that is the key to making this work. Now, sometimes people use interventionists. Sometimes people use whatever, and you got to do what you got to do, and you got to get over yourself. You have to get over yourself if you're going to help your loved one. Lots of people cannot do this. That's why people do not get sober. That's why the people who need this the most don't get sober, because the family can't get the fuck over themselves. Now, I got to ask you, alcohol, as they say, is usually a family problem. Okay, now I don't know if it's a gene. I don't know what the technical alcohol stuff is. I've studied it, but I don't know. And it doesn't matter. Again, that's the content. Let's deal with the real issue here. And the real issue here is this person needs help. They need help. Detox is very dangerous. Lots of things are dangerous. They need help. They need help from professionals. They need help from someone that knows what it's like, right? Because chances are maybe you're an alcoholic yourself, or maybe you deal with drug issues. Lots of people in my family, my dad included, I mean, he's an addict of sorts, not to one thing. He's been addicted to gambling. He's been addicted to Xanax for years, and, you know, call it what you want. I just take a Xanax every day. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's cool. I don't know, but it seems to be a problem, and you can't get over yourself and help your son, and you need to do that. And you got to look at this objectively. You got to look at it rationally. Get the content out of the way, because the content is what kills people. The content is what makes people stay sick. And everyone wants to focus on the content, and you did this, and I did this, and we're going to do that, and whatever. But you got to look at it and say the content doesn't matter. What matters is the person I love and their life. And so I hope this video has helped you. What I'm going to do at talksober.com/lovedone, talksober.com/lovedone, is I'm going to put some resources for you. I'm going to give you some tips and tell you what I did. And obviously, I'm not the be-all, end-all. This is the first time I've actually helped someone other than myself, which other people helped me as well. But, you know, this could have gone really, really bad. Very bad. This could have ended extremely bad. Like the worst case scenario could have happened here. And who knows, maybe it still might. But the fact of the matter is I got him in treatment. I got him where he's safe. And I got him in good spirits, knowing that, you know what? You know, and the night before, I said some things straight up. I was straight with him. And I kind of, you know, I kind of made him mad, because I was like, look, this is the way it is, buddy. And he was like, you know, fuck you, this sucks, whatever. And I could have talked about that, right? I could have kept bringing that up and be like, you know, when you called me that name, you little shit. Who cares? Does your ego matter in the grand scheme of things? Like, really? Do you want to be right, or do you want this person to get help? Do you want to be right, and do you want to fucking have your little fake pedestal, or do you want to get this person sober and well and potentially save their life? And you got to ask yourself these things, and you got to look at it. And if you can't do it, get someone else who can and listen to them, right? Like, the only reason this worked is because I told my family, this is what's happening. And they said, well, can we come visit? Can we come say goodbye? No, you can't do shit. I got him to say yes. He's going to treatment. We're going. This is what we're doing, because I know you're going to come in. You're going to do your drama. You're going to do the tears. You're going to do whatever. And every little tiny step could be, oh, man, I'm going to miss these people. Oh, shit, what about that contract that we got to fix? What about this, right? And that messes shit up. So you got to be one track. Now, if you are on board with this and you want to get your loved one some help, again, talksober.com/loved1. Loved one. That's loved, the number one. Okay, talksober.com/loved one. We're going to have some resources. And if you want to get them some help and your family's not on board, if your family's as crazy and batshit down the road as mine is, then what you got to do is you got to do this on your own. You got to decide to do it, get the outside help, set everything up, and if they ask, tell them. Say, you're bringing him here. Oh, I don't want to bring him here. Fine, I'm going to go get him. And when you go get him, you put him in the car. You don't talk, right? Because if you talk, content. Content is not solutions. Solutions are what you're going to do. So stop talking about what people did and they did blah, 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 and when I was 8 and when I was 5 and this guy and whatever, right? Stop that shit. Go there and look at it and say, I care about this person and we're going to focus on who the person is and what we're going to do. What are we going to do? We're going to get this plane and we're going to get on it. We're going to go drive to this place and we're going to check you in. We're going to do this. We're going to, every step needs to be orchestrated and you need to know what is going on. And you need to talk to them like a fucking human being instead of talking to them like some ass. Probably like I'm talking to you now. But at any rate, I think this is stuff you need to hear. So what we're going to do is at talksober.com/loved one, we're going to talk to you about how it's going to work. In my next series of videos over the next 30 days, I'm going to try to do 30 videos in 30 days while my brother is in rehab so that he can watch them when he comes out. We're going to talk about what to do after, right? Because once you get them into rehab, that's the beginning, right? Then they got to freaking stay there. And then when they get out, that's when the real shit hits the road. Because I'll tell you what, it's really easy to stay sober in rehab because there ain't no fucking alcohol. There ain't no drugs in the rehab if you pick a good one, right? And do your homework on it. Don't just send them to Bob's freaking rehab for the crazy people or whatever, unless it's good, right? Do your research. Find a good one. If you got to be far away, make it far away. If you want them nearby for whatever reason, make it nearby. But again, remember, if it's nearby, they can walk out easy and call their old friends and score their drugs and get their stuff. It's really easy. You got to make it hard, right? I dropped him off in the middle of what looks like nowhere because we took a wrong turn. It looked like nowhere, which was kind of good. I was like, good thing I took a wrong turn because he thinks he's like 60 miles from civilization, which is kind of cool. But at any rate, you got to look at that and you got to do it objectively and say, I love this person and I want him to get help. And then after the 30 days, after they're feeling good, saying I stayed sober 30 days, say, yeah, that's good. But again, remember, you were where there was no alcohol in a controlled environment. Now the rubber meets the road and we're going to get a plan. And keep on with the plan. No content, no bullshit. All that stuff that kept them drunk and kept them intoxicated and kept them crazy, we got to put that on the back burner. The only reason my recovery worked is, one, because I was able to do that and go to rehab and everything like that. And also because my plan when I got out changed my life. I had sold my house. I changed my whole life. There's a big hawk on the ground out there. I wish I could film him. He's like getting a frog or something. He's looking at me. All right, I think he left. But you got to look at this, and you got to ask yourself, how much do I love this person, and what am I willing to do to get them help? And if your answer is not damn near anything, then you need to reevaluate, and you need to look at getting some outside help, maybe an intervention guy, maybe taking them to a rehab or a detox and buying yourself some time so you can get them help. But again, have your ducks in a row. Talk to them like they're a person. Remember who they were, because that person is still there. They're still that person. They're just a little tainted by the alcohol, actually a lot tainted. And the core of who they are is still there. And you got to talk to that. You got to forget about the content. Forget about whatever bullshit just happened, or forget about, they scratched my car, or, they stole my liquor, or whatever. Forget about this stuff. I mean, come on, man. We're dealing with life and death here. We're dealing with someone that needs to get help. And if you go over to talksober.com/loved one, we're going to have some tools for you. And the videos over the next 30 days you're going to want to watch, because I'm going to be talking to people who are dealing with loved ones, and I'm also going to be talking to what to do after someone's out of rehab. Now, this is going to be good for the alcoholic who just gets out of rehab, or the drug addict who just gets out of rehab. And it's also going to be good for you to watch as well, because if you watch these videos, if you subscribe to my channel here, you're going to start to understand how alcoholism works, and you're going to start to understand what goes on in our mind. Right? A lot of people who are alcoholics, they listen to me and they read my stuff and they're like, Marcus, it's like you just reached into my brain and you pulled my thoughts out and you said them. Yeah, that's because I've been where you're at, and I've been where your loved one is too. And I understand what this stuff's like. So, subscribe to my channel here. I hope you like this long-winded video. I'm kind of tired. Over the last 36 hours, I flew from Florida to California, from Santa Ana up to Oakland, and from San Francisco back to Florida. and I was running on like 15 hours or 15 minutes, probably 45 minutes of sleep. You know, you got to do what you got to do if you love the person. Then get their family on board, get everything, get whatever you got to do. And if the family's not on board, then, you know, keep them away from the family or do what you got to do, because this is serious. This is something that people need help with. People die every single day from alcoholism and from drugs and all this stuff. And I don't want to see your loved one end up there. So go over to talksober.com/loved one. Check out the resources that we have for you. Again, remember, talk to them like a person. Forget about the content. Forget about the stuff. And focus on getting them help. Focus on the things that they like and the things that they want to do and the person they want to become and what it is. Because so many times, all this bickering, all this battering, all this stuff is your loved one crying out for help. They want help. They don't know how to get it. And you gotta help them get it, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta look at it and say, I love this person and I want to get them help. Stop dicking around. Stop asking me, what should I do? What should I do? And step up and do something. And, you know, when they're ready, and you can help them be ready by orchestrating things in their life to set up what you need to set up. So, talksober.com/loved one. I hope you liked this video. If you did, put your comments below. Tell me the struggles that you're having with your loved one, or if you're an alcoholic watching this because you're subscribed or whatever, tell me what you thought about the video. And you know what? I also understand you, and I understand that oftentimes alcohol has changed your mind and your brain and the way that you think, and it focuses on the content. I mean, think about it. Every time you're drunk, every time you know someone who's drunk, what are they doing? They're talking about the content. They go to a bar and they get in a fight over the fucking 49ers uniform, and it's like, who gives a shit about a football team's uniform? You know, they're getting in a fight over something petty. Why? Content, 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 content. Fuck the content. Focus on getting the help. Focus on it for you. Focus on it for your loved one. Make it work, because if it doesn't work, it might be the last chance. Thanks again for watching this. I'm Marcus at TalkSober.com. Go over to TalkSober.com/loved one. I'll put it on the screen here. It's loved, the number one. We're going to have some resources for you so we can help you evaluate best rehabs, what to do, intervention stuff. We're going to have everything there for you so that you can get help. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.